set, and introduction. So the first one, what is set? Let us define first what is set. So set is a Good morning mga kamatatag. In this video, we will going to discuss the lesson 1 for week 1 for grade 7. So yung first lesson para sa grade 7 for the first quarter is all about set. So this time we're going to discuss the set as an introduction. So most of the discussion here is definitions and symbols regarding set. So this is week 1 lesson 1 set and introduction. So the first one, what is set? Let us define first what is set. So set is a collection of or group of well-defined and well-distinguished objects that follow a certain common rule. This rule helps in identifying whether a particular object belongs to that group or not. Again, the keyword here is well-defined and well-distinguished. So we have to take note of that word. The groups are called sets for as long as the objects in the group share a characteristic and are thus well-defined sets. Or the groups are called sets for as long as the objects in the group share a characteristic and are thus well-defined. So it cannot be called a set if it is not well-defined. Okay? Now, set element. Each member or object in a given set is called an element. Okay, yung member or the object inside the set is what we call an element. It is represented by the symbol E, as you can see in your screen, which read as is an element of. So suppose X is equal to A, E, I, O, U, then we say that A is an element of X, E is an element of X, I is an element of X. If an element, say P, does not belong to a set A, then we write P is not an element of A. So that's the symbol for not an element, where the symbol is the sign which means it's not an element of a set, okay, or it's not a member. So example, the set of odd numbers less than 10. So what are those numbers? We have 1 up to 10. 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Those are odd numbers less than 10. So we can say that 1 is an element of C. So in symbol, 1 is an element of C, 3 is an element of C, 5 is an element of C, 7 is an element of C, and 9 also is an element of C, which is the set of odd numbers less than 10. 4, 6, 8 is not an element of C. So in symbol, as you can see on your screen, that's a symbol for not an element. So there are representation of a set. The first one is the description method. So what is description method? In this method, we describe the elements, and this description of elements is enclosed in braces. So example, the set of all days in a week is written as, we have the braces and then the description inside, all days of the week. Note that Thursday is an element of all days in a week, while April is not an element of all days in a week. Okay, so naka-braces and then ando yung description sa loob ng braces. Second one is the roster method or the tabular form. So in this method, all the elements of the set are listed and separated by commas. Again, all the elements of the set are listed, separated by commas, and the list enclosed again by braces. So an example, a set C of all counting numbers can be expressed in roster form as C, then we have the braces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. Okay, note that the three dots called ellipses are used to indicate the omission of some elements or to indicate that the established pattern continues without end. So alam nyo na yan, kung may tatlong kakasunod na dot, ibig sabihin it goes up to so many numbers. Okay? So again, kapag yung isang method, balikan natin, description, isusulat natin ano yung description inside the braces. Kapag tabular, ililista natin yung mga element inside the braces. Okay? So, next one, we have the rule method or set builder notation. Right, in this method, the elements are not listed, but they are represented by specifying a property or a general rule which is applicable to all the elements. That is, set builder notation always takes the form. So this is the form of set builder notation. Lagi nyo makikita yan. Ibig sabihin pag ganyan, yan ay set builder notation. An example, let x written in tabular form 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and so on. So in set builder notation, we write the set x as this one. So x is a set of all values of x such that x is an even number. So with that, again, we can read that as the set of all elements of x such that x is an even number. So these are the terms that we need to remember with regards to set. Again, a set of all defined group of objects. The subset, a set A is a subset of B, so that's the symbol, if and only if every element of A is an element of B. Okay? Again, A is a subset of B kapag yung element ni A ay element din ni B. And if A is not a subset of B, then we write the symbol. So yan yung symbol ng not a subset. If there are an element of A that is not in B. So dapat kung ano yung element ni A, yun din ang element ni B para maging subset. Another one, we have proper subset. So X is a proper subset of Y. If X is a subset of Y and there exists at least one element in Y that is not an X. Okay? Again, X is a proper subset of Y if X is a subset of Y at merong element kay Y na wala si X. Okay? So that's proper subset. Fourth, we have power set. It's the set whose elements are all subsets of the given set, including the empty set. The set whose elements are all subset. That's what we call the power set. Next, we have the universal set. the set that contains all objects under consideration. That is defined by the symbol U. The null set is an empty set. The null set is also a subset of any set. So don't forget that. Kasama lagi si null set or empty set sa subset. The cardinality of a set is the number of elements contained in a given set. Again, cardinality, yan yung number ng elements sa isang set. So, bibilangin lang natin kung ilang elements. Okay? Number 8, we have equal sets. Are two sets having the same element. The number of elements in the sets are also equal. Equal sets, again, two sets having the same element. Second one, we have the equivalent sets. Are sets having the same number of elements or cardinality. So it doesn't necessarily na same sila ng element as long as they have the same number of elements. So that's what we call an equivalent set. Right, so these are the symbols and examples in the solutions involving the terms with regards to sets. So you can take a screenshot of this one, or you can post and copy the following symbols, examples, and solution for each term in a set. Okay? So there are types of sets. So first one, we have the finite set. It is having fixed number of elements. So from the word finite set, it means that the number of elements in a set can be counted. Example, set A is A, B, C. The set of officers in a class can be counted also. Second one, we have the infinite set. It is a set without a fixed number of elements. It means that the number of elements in the set cannot be counted. Of course, this is the opposite of the finite set. So the set of natural numbers up to infinity. The set of stars in the sky, of course, we cannot count the stars. Okay. Another type of sets, we have the singleton set. So it is also known as the unit set with exactly one element. So 7 is a singleton set containing only one element, and the current president of the Philippines is also an example of singleton set. So that's a symbol. Another one is the empty set or null set. That's a symbol we are going to use in the representation of empty set or null set. It is a set that contains no elements. For example, the set of months having more than 31 days. Siyempre, wala, di ba? So the set of months in a year having less than 20 days. So empty set or null set. Next, we have the universal set. We have mentioned that already in our previous slides. So a set containing all the elements of interest in a particular situation. For example, we have the set of mangoes in a fruit seller's shop. It's a subset of the universal set of fruits in the shop. The set of letters of the alphabet is the universal set, from which the letter or of any word may be chosen to form a set. So that's the introduction to set for lesson 1 for the first quarter of grade 7. I hope you learned something, and don't forget again to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updated for our next videos. Kung meron kayong mga kaklase na grade 7 and kailangan nilang video nito, huwag niyo kalimutang i-share sa kanila. Happy learning!